Well, good evening, y'all. Good morning. Well, I guess technically good morning. It is 1 o'clock in the morning here in a very frozen Hubbard, Ohio. And I just wanted to give an update on my case. Something I was actually waiting on. Um, that way I've gone through the proper channels. So the 10th District Court of Appeals in Columbus has denied my appeal. Apparently, they didn't like my brief. I don't care. Like it, don't like it, makes no difference to me. I'll read y'all my brief. Hold on. So this was the non-complying brief. Good morning, Your Honor. I apologize. Now, I'm not well versed at writing legal briefs, but I figured short, sweet, and to the point was about the best way. Brief. Be brief. Be quick. Good morning, Your Honor. I apologize for waiting until the last minute to file this brief as I am an over-the-road truck driver and did not know until today I needed to file this. I've not been home since December 6, 2024. I filed my appeal based on my belief that the Ohio Court of Claims neglected to look at certain evidence, which they did. I added evidence as I acquired it, and I feel as though the lower court mistakenly granted defendant's motion to dismiss, whereby they claimed the following. Defendant claims that I am filing a workman's comp claim. This is false, and I have stated that this is a negligence case. Never in any court documents have I said that I was filing for workman's compensation. They tried to allege it was workman's compensation claim. No, it's negligence, not workman's comp. The only workers' compensation I'm filing is to compensate me for my job neglecting to protect my interests and the interests of my coworkers in the case of staff assaults by convicted felons under the care of the Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections. Defendant also claims that ODRC has no ability to investigate crimes. This is false, and I have documentation that I acquired later to prove this as a rebuttal to the claim. Defendant has claimed that DRC has no ability to prosecute inmates who assault staff. While I concede on this point, I would also like to mention that police officers who arrest criminals on the street also have no ability to prosecute crime. Defendant has to concede that a police officer has to send the criminal act and reports, etc., up to the prosecutor's office for the crime to be prosecuted. This did not happen. The lower court also did not look at all of my submitted evidence. If this is not a miscarriage of justice, then I am confused as to what is. I feel as though this case should be looked at with all evidence being considered. I also feel as though the procedures of the lower court are geared toward discriminating against those of us who could not find a lawyer to handle the filings. When I was in school, I used to pledge to a flag with the last few words being justice for all. I don't recall it saying justice for all who speak legalese as a second language or for those who can find a lawyer with any fortitude to fight a corrupt system. Since no lawyer in Ohio seems to possess the fortitude to take my case or the stomach for the fight I am willing to undertake, I am forced to fight alone. I pray Your Honor allows this to go to court so I can put DRC on the record to show publicly their negligence. I would also like to add that since filing this lawsuit, another brother correctional officer was killed by an inmate at Ross CI on Christmas Day. These policies and documents that the court has no doubt previously reviewed showing my arguments will tell the story of a department that does not care about its staff and chooses to create a dangerous work environment. I am also not interested in a settlement, as I would love for this to go before a jury trial so that I may bring to light what the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections is doing to prevent staff from seeking prosecution and let a jury decide what they think is a fair settlement. I will send a copy of this to the defense lawyers via email and certified mail, as has been our method of correspondence. Thank you, Anthony Allen. Apparently, that brief wasn't acceptable. I don't know why. Again, I'm not well versed in writing legal briefs, but I can tell you what I think. I think the Ohio Court of Claims and the 10th District Court of Appeals, those three judges that signed the order to dismiss, which, by the way, thank you, because again, now I could take it federal, which is where I wanted to take it anyway. Um, I think that they're playing the game that they're playing the odds that I'm going to quit. Let me tell you something. I'm not quitting. I'm not. This is going forward. I've already been on WTOL out of Toledo and made a promise that it's going forward. Um, Honestly, I just haven't been in Columbus with the time to stop and file it yet. But having this denial, this is also what I was waiting on. I was waiting on the denial. When I file what I'm going to file, which is almost 500 pages long, because when I file it, I'm going to go ahead and take care of their motion for discovery, and it's all going to be there. All of it. They're not going to have to request, I'm fast tracking as much as I can because I want this over with. I want this to go to trial. And I'm publicly saying, back in October, I entertained the thought of a settlement. And I did send a demand letter to the attorneys for $75,000 for a demand. I was initially suing for 100. That offer is well since expired as far as I'm concerned. I want a jury trial. The reason I want a jury trial is I'm sick of this shit. I'm sure this video is going to wind up being seen in court, so when it does, make sure you play the whole thing so I can say this. Your Honor, I mean no disrespect to you, sir or ma'am. What I do mean disrespect to and who I hold in the lowest forms of contempt possible is the state of Ohio. The Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say again for the record, I have nothing against the attorneys for the state. They're doing their job and they're very good lawyers. They're earning their paycheck. They are fighting me like they're supposed to. So they're doing their jobs. I have nothing bad to say about the attorneys that I have dealt with the Ohio Attorney General's office. I am not saying anything, and I will not say anything negative about them unless they do something unethical or do something that's just really fucked up. But they have been 100% above board. We've exchanged several emails. They've always been very pleasant to me. Even though we're opposing each other, I feel that they are very capable of doing a good job. And I say this without reservation. But I say that to say this. It's the state of Ohio itself that's acting unethically. It's the court systems in the state of Ohio that's acting unethically. You wanted a brief, I gave you a brief. You didn't like it. I don't know what exactly you wanted in your brief. Don't really care because you've already denied it. So that ship has sailed. But I'm wanting to go federal and I want a jury trial. I want a federal jury made up of 12 people, 12 tax-paying registered voters who live in the state of Ohio to sort this case out. That's what I want. And I want them to think, well, gee, why would anybody work for a Department of Corrections who doesn't put staff safety, officer safety as paramount? That's what I want. And then I want them to think, what would the world be like if we didn't have correctional officers? What would the world be like if we didn't have prisons? Where would we put the Ted Bundys of the world? I believe Jeffrey Dahmer at one point was housed by the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections. You want him walking the street? You might wind up his next meal. Um, I'm not all again. I'm not saying that we need to be brutal or violate the Eighth Amendment in our methods. I'm saying we need common sense. And this is why I no longer work as a correctional officer. I have forfeited my career, one that I loved, and I will tell you that it is not one I gave up lightly to fight this fight because I believe in it. I want to see if there's a magistrate or a judge that's going to actually listen to the facts and not pull this legalese ipso facto lawyer bullshit. I understand y'all went to law school. Great. Congratulations. You went to 7 years of school. And what are you doing for it? Okay, so you made judge. Great. Glad you made a judge. Apparently you're not a very honorable judge in the court of appeals and in the court of claims in Ohio, because your job is to sift through and right wrongs committed by the state. The way I understand it. And you refused to look at all the evidence, and then you believed, even though I said several times that this is not about a workman's comp claim, that I was filing a workman's comp claim. How do you get that? Where does that come from? Where it comes from is your fucking bias. That's why we're going federal. And if anybody's curious about how I'm going to get federal jurisdiction, I never actually, I was never a resident of the state of Ohio. So it defaults back that I'm a resident of another state. Even when I was up here, my car tag, my driver's license, my voter registration, all of that was still in Mississippi, and I still had a house in Mississippi, or a place of residence in Mississippi. Oops, there's the catch all. Now federal has jurisdiction. Never had an Ohio driver's license in my life. Mainly because it would cost too much to switch it over. I don't know what it would cost the average person, but when you have a CDL with every endorsement on it, it costs a lot. Hell, just the hazmat endorsement that I have probably cost me better than $120 just for that, let alone everything else. So yeah, I kept it in Mississippi. Looks like it's a good thing I did. Not to mention, my home is Mississippi. Always has been, always will be. So y'all want to play? Let's play, boys. And good luck to you. Because if I get this in front of a jury trial, you're done. If the if the federal district court in Columbus doesn't ipso facto me to death and puts this in front of a jury with all the evidence that I have, you're sunk. You are done. And you know it. Another thing I want to talk about, I want to count these. So let me pull up my folder here. Bear with me a second. Okay, had a little bit of technical difficulties there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wait, let me start over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 21 staff assaults. These are all Freedom of Information Act requests that I filed. And I have 21 instances of staff assaults at Toledo Correctional Institution, one of the facilities in the state of Ohio, just one. And this is all between June 10th and September 5th of 2024. So not even a full 90 days, we have 21 cases of staff assault. 21. Now, I want to talk, before I go into this, I want to talk about something else with staff assaults. So, my initial request, my initial FOIA request was for all staff assaults for the entire year of 2024. Well, they rejected it, said it was overbroad. At first, what I was told by Derek Burkhart, who, by the way, nothing against Derek Burkhart, he's actually been great. Whenever I send an email, he's very responsive. Whenever I send a Freedom of Information Act request, he's very responsive. He runs it through the legal. He's doing everything he's supposed to do. He's doing his job. So, Burkhart, if you see this, I'm sure you will. Zero complaints, brother. Keep up the good work. Um, I have zero complaints about you and what you're doing. But whenever I file an FOIA, when I filed the first one, he said, well, we only have 2 cases of staff assaults that were serious enough for us to keep track of. And if it's not a serious staff assault, apparently to where the officer goes to outside medical with a substantial injury, they don't really count it. The state of Ohio. That's policy, I'm sure. Um, so I got to thinking, we're going to have to I'm going to have to sit back and see how I can word this a little bit better. So I said, I know what. They had to do an assault packet on me when I got assaulted. So I requested all of the assault packets that included inmate on staff assaults. And they initially said it was overbroad because I wanted for the entire year 2024. So I narrowed it down and I said, well, just give me Toledo CI from the time that I worked there from June 10th to September 5th of 2024. And it took a while because, again, 21 cases of staff assault. And every one of these are included in every one of these will be included, which is why my submission to um, federal courts, almost 500 pages, is because of that. These are individual staff assaults. In addition to my evidence that I've submitted, in addition to my rebuttals, in addition to the initial back and forth um, arguments between me and the state attorneys, um, and my initial complaint, it comes out to almost 500 pages. The document on my computer, which is a PDF file, just that document is over 100 megabytes. That's a lot. When I file this, I know what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to go get a flash drive and take it into Kinko's or Office Depot when I have them printed out. And because I know I can't email it, it's too damn big. And it's going to take them a while because for I'm printing out for every defendant. And in the federal claim, the state claim, I'm just suing the department. The federal claim, there's a lot more defendants on there, named and unnamed. I'm not playing. I'm deadly serious about this. It is my hope that I will be able to file this within the next 30 days. I need a $400 filing fee for the state, which is not that hard for me to do. I make decent money where I'm at. Um, I just got to find the time and get through Columbus. That's all I need to do. And go take it up to the courthouse. That's all I need to do. It's not that difficult. Now that I have the denial from the state, I can attach that and go from there. Matter of fact, I'm probably going to do that today. So, yeah, I'll be probably over 500 pages. I'm I'm claiming judicial bias 100% publicly. I may file it officially. I'm considering it. Matter of fact, I may actually start making a complaint to the Bar Association tomorrow. I'm over it. You're not getting away with this. This will go to court. I'm not backing down. I'll make sure to serve the attorneys. And every one of them, when I print it out, when I print their individual copy out, it's going to look like I'm mailing them a book. But that's okay. I'm not playing. Y'all have a good day.